Welcome to the channel. This video I'm going to talk about rust proofing. There's a few different options in the product for rust proofing, so I'm going to cover some that I use here and talk about. Now the first one I want to show is this rust free. This is a gallon jug and they make this in clear or black. This is the clear and I've used this for years. I really like this stuff. You buy their gun kit for it too and you just hook your air hose to this gun and it's a siphon feed. This first tip is good for big open areas where you need lots of coverage. Now you have a tight area, rocker panels, or even down inside the bottom of a door, you put this wand in, and this has a 360 tip on it, so when you spray it inside a rocker panel, it doesn't spray too much out the end, it sprays 360 degrees around, so inside of frame rails, rocker panels, stuff like that, it works real good. Next is this 3M cavity wax, and I really like this stuff. It sprays good no matter what the temperature, it's nice and thin, it's got a spray tip on here, and it'll spray kind of a big pattern, so this works good for open areas. But for reaching into tough spots, they make an additional wand kit. There's 3 different sizes here. And these work real good. They're nice and thin, they're flexible. You get down the bottom of a door shell, rocker panel, frame rail. Now these also have a 360 tip on 2 of them. The short one doesn't, but you can just pull that tip out of there and you can put it in a smaller tip. This stuff works real good. The only drawback, you don't get a whole lot in that can compared to the gallon jug, and it is more expensive. So for big projects, the gallon jug works nice. For doing repair, if you're doing a rust patch or a new panel on a car and you just want to spot spray, these things work great. Now this stuff here, everybody has seen this stuff, everybody's used it, I've used it. Rubberized undercoating, everybody makes it. This stuff is not rust proofing. This isn't recommended to spray inside a new panel for any kind of rust control or rust preventative. The only time I use something like this is you paint a car and you got overspray in your wheelhouse, you want to cover up, make it look nice, cover up some overspray on a frame rail. This will make stuff black and it's got some texture to it. It makes it look nice. It's not a good metal protectant. It'll peel off, it hardens up, it cracks. Now here's something I haven't used before, so I'm going to try this today. Blaster brand Surface Shield. It leaves some type of an oily, waxy film on metal. So this is supposed to be pretty good for even existing rust, just to seal it. And like any rust preventative, it should seal the surface up from moisture and oxygen. So I'm going to try this today and see how it works. One of the key ingredients in these products is wax. The wax will be there for years. It doesn't dry out and crack. It'll stay pliable. And once you got a car treated with this, when it sits out in the sun, say on a blacktop Walmart parking lot or something, and it's 110 degrees, this stuff will always creep in any little place that it can. So it never really completely hardens. And this blaster says it contains lanolin. That's another good agent for wicking into places and not drying out. Now this rubberized undercoating, it says it contains methyl acetate, toluene, and acetone. So there is no wax or anything like that that's going to keep this product from drying out and cracking. Here's my 07 Dodge Ram. I bought this truck new, and for the first 2 years I owned it, it was my daily driver. Then I bought a work truck to drive. I didn't want this exposed to salt anymore. First thing I did when I bought this truck was rust proof it. So I took my door panels off so I can spray inside of them. Let's take a look under this rubber. And this is that clear spray undercoating. It's still fairly soft. There's no rust on the bottoms of the doors. Manufacturers will tell you that this rust on the door starts on the outside. It doesn't. It starts from the inside. Once I undercoated these doors, I've got no rust anywhere on all 4 of them. Now jumping underneath the truck, I treated the rocker panels, used that long wand, and they use like a tape to cover up some holes here in the back side of the inner rocker. And I got that wand in there, sprayed them one into another, and I can still feel that wax up in these drain holes here. That's another important part of rust proofing, is keep your drain holes open. First area rust is going to start on these trucks is on the wheelhouse, on the bed. And I don't care what manufacturer it is, Dodge, Ford, Chevy, they all start rusting in here. Being I've replaced a few of these truck beds before I bought this one, I knew what the issue was. Now all the manufacturers put a foam in here between the outer panel and the inner wheelhouse. And I'm not even sure what that's supposed to do. Is it an anti-flutter? Is it to keep debris out of there? Well, on the Dodges, that foam is kind of up high right in this area. and I knew there was a void underneath here. So when I rust-proofed this, I was able to get that wand in between the inner and outer panel, but got it underneath that foam, and I forced it all the way through from one side to the other, and I sprayed that with that heavy wax. And for an 07, there's not a bit of rust, nothing coming through, still looks good. Let me show you underneath. Now inside the bed, I'm behind the back wheel, and what I did, I was able to get that wand just over the top of this inner wheelhouse, and I could feel that foam up in there, and I forced this wand down below the foam, and I was able to push it as far as I could reach it in there, and then do the same thing from the front side, and it's held up real good. After about 16, 17 years, that wax is still up in here where I sprayed between these two layers, and it's still oily, tacky. Same thing up into here. It's very important. Get your rust-proof product in between these panels where the rust starts. The stuff will get thin enough so it'll creep in there, it'll wick in, it'll fill in panels that have been spot welded together. It'll creep through over time. So about 3 months ago, when I repaired and repainted the door and cab panel on my mini truck, and I sprayed the 3M cavity wax in both these panels. So from the heat of the summer, that cavity wax gets almost liquid and it starts running. It creeps in every little place that it can. And this is what you want to see. That's what it's supposed to do. That way it's going to fill in any little void and seal it up from air and moisture. Now here my son had bought a new Toyota Tacoma, so we used a gallon jug of the rust proofing, and I put the wand on it, got everywhere I could reach with it. Then I used a regular spray tip to coat the outside of the rails. Now I didn't film it, but we used the 3M cavity wax to do the inside of the doors and inside the rocker panels where we could get into them. Okay, can you get it now? Yep. Now back on my 07 Dodge, the frame is actually pretty clean, but there's a few spots with rust coming through on the seams. So I'm going to spray it with Surface Shield, and I'm going to keep an eye on it in the future and just see how this stuff holds up. Now on the Surface Shield, it says you can put this over light rust, it'll seal it off. And the cavity wax in this gallon jug of Rust Free does the same thing. Anything you can put over that rust to keep oxygen and moisture out is going to help. So if you've got something that's got some light rust on it, it'll help seal it. It may not rust anymore. At the very least, it'll slow it down. So anything you can do to just seal off this rust is going to help your vehicle. I hope you liked all this information. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done it. Thanks for watching.